People are always angry at anyone who chooses very individual standards for his life because of the extraordinary treatment which that man grants to himself. They feel degraded, like ordinary beings. Friedrich Nietzsche. Life will put you in a cage if you let it. Not all at once, not with a visible lock and key, but slowly, incrementally, until one day you wake up, look around, and realize the walls have closed in. You may not even remember when it started. Was it the job you settled for? The relationship that dulled your fire? The endless cycle of predictable, numbing days? The worst part is, at some point you stopped fighting back, because this is just how things are, right? You convinced yourself that you were making the best of your circumstances. That is what adulthood, responsibility, and realism look like. You've heard the phrase, do what you can with what you have. Play the hand you're dealt. Be grateful. And while there is wisdom in those words, they can also be used as a sedative, a soft, numbing lullaby that keeps you from waking up and realizing you are operating with fewer choices than you should be. Most people don't notice the slow constriction of choice because it happens so subtly. It starts with the small concessions, things that don't seem like a big deal at the time. You take a job because it's practical, not because you want it. You stay in a relationship because it's comfortable, not because it inspires you. You let yourself fall into daily routine that requires no thought, no courage, no risk. And before long, that one choice turns into a pattern. The pattern solidifies into reality. And that reality becomes your identity. I'm just not that kind of person. I guess I was never meant to do something great. I'm too old, too late, too far gone. These are the words of someone who has forgotten what it means to choose. Because when you are truly free, when you have real options in front of you, those thoughts don't even enter your mind. The lion does not wake up in the morning and wonder if it's worthy of the hunt. The human psyche craves freedom. When we lack choices, something in us withers. We don't feel like we're living. We feel like we're watching life happen. And when we're merely a spectator in our own existence, a few things begin to occur. You go on autopilot. The days blur together, indistinguishable from one another. Routine replaces growth. Security replaces adventure. And you stop looking for new possibilities because you've trained yourself to believe they aren't there. You start rationalizing mediocrity. You convince yourself that what you have is enough. You make peace with limitations even when they suffocate you. And the most dangerous part? You start resenting anyone who hasn't accepted those same limitations. You long for something more, but you don't know where to find it. Deep inside, you feel a pull, a need for adventure, for challenge, for the thrill of something more. But because you've been operating in a confined world, you don't even know what more looks like anymore. This is a silent suffering of a life without choice. It is a dull ache, a quiet hunger that never fully goes away. Now picture something different. Imagine waking up every day with the absolute certainty that your life is yours, that you are not trapped, that you have designed every aspect of your world with precision, with intention, with the raw power of knowing you can change anything at any moment. Imagine looking at every situation, every setback, and instead of feeling stuck, you feel options. What will I do with this? How will I use this? Where will I go next? Imagine moving through the world with a presence so strong that you command reality itself, not because you have been given power, but because you took it. This is what it means to live a life of choice. Not every option will be easy. Not every choice will be clear. But the difference between those who have choice and those who do not is this. Those who have choice act. Those who don't hesitate. Those who have choice decide. Those who don't, wait. When you are living from a place of true agency, you do not see problems, you see paths. You do not see obstacles, you see opportunities. And the most intoxicating part, the more you step into this way of being, the more unstoppable you become. Because real freedom is not just about having options, it's about knowing you are the one who creates them. This is where we pause. So far, we've identified the cage. We've acknowledged its slow construction, its invisible chains. We've felt the weight of limitation, and we've glimpsed the taste of what true choice can be like. Now the real question becomes, how do you step into that power? How do you reclaim choice in every area of life? That is what we will explore next. But before we continue, I want you to sit with something deeper than words, something beyond thought. Because if you really listen, if you truly feel what we've just uncovered, you may realize something important. You already know the answer. It has always been there. Most people mistake helplessness for morality. They think because the lamb does not attack, does not fight back, does not choose violence, that it is somehow good. But the lamb is not good. The lamb is defenseless. The lamb has no choice. If you have no claws, no sharp teeth, if you have no ability to be dangerous, then your restraint is not morality. It's necessity. It's only when a person has the ability to destroy, but chooses not to, that we call them virtuous. True morality only exists in the presence of real choice. A man who is incapable of harming others is not peaceful. He is harmless. And harmlessness is not a virtue. It's a weakness. Because in this world, something will set its claws into you. If not people, then systems. If not systems, then circumstances. If you do not develop your ability to act with force, to choose powerfully, to move through this life with deliberate authority, then you will be subject to those who have, and you will accept the reality they impose on you. But here's where most people hesitate. They fear that if they step into this power, they will become something dark, something dangerous. They're afraid that the moment they let go of the chains, they will transform into a tyrant. That if they develop the ability to influence, to command, to bend reality, they will become something they cannot control. And maybe, for a moment, they will. Because when a caged animal is finally set loose, what does it do? It thrashes. It roars. It tests its strength against the world, trying to make sense of its newfound freedom. But here's the truth. If you have spent your life longing for choice, you will not use it to destroy. You will use it to build. At first, you may make mistakes. You may test boundaries. You may step too far in one direction before realizing it's not you. But then you will settle into your power. You will look around and realize that you are no longer reacting to life. You are creating it. You will walk into rooms, and the people you love most will feel it. You will speak, and your words will land with weight. You will move, and the world will shift around you in response. And as you step into this new way of being, something even greater happens. The power begins to spread. Wherever you go, you release people from their own prisons. You walk into a place and the energy changes because you have changed. You proclaim freedom to the captives, not with words, but with presence. The people around you see what is possible, and they wake up. You bring joy to those who mourn, not because you offer them comfort, but because they witness what it looks like to stand in the fire and emerge stronger. You rebuild the world around you, not because you are good or because you should, but because you can, because you have become something capable of it. You plant gardens and watch them flourish, and the people in your life your family, your friends, your community begin to thrive, not because you saved them, but because you led by example. That is the true consequence of a life of choice. But how do you get there? How do you break free from the autopilot of reaction and step into the life that is yours? Nietzsche once wrote, "Forgetting our intentions is the most frequent of all acts of stupidity." So it starts with a vision. Picture yourself, imagine yourself, not as you are now, but as the version of you who has mastered choice. Who is that person? Close your eyes. See them. How do they walk? How do they speak? How do they look at the world? How do people respond when they enter a room? What kind of energy do they have? This person is you, but stripped of hesitation, freed from the chains of self-doubt, unburdened by the constraints that once bound them. They move through the world with effortless control. They do not hesitate. They do not seek permission. They do not ask, "Is this okay?" They decide. And now, ask yourself, what tools does this version of you have? What skills have they mastered? What beliefs do they hold that make them powerful? Because belief is the single most powerful tool in existence. You are not bound by what is real. You are not bound by what is practical. You are not bound by what is culturally acceptable. Your beliefs do not need to fit into the world you were given. Your beliefs do not need to be realistic. They only need to serve you. If you believe you are unstoppable, your mind will shape itself to match that belief. If you believe you have influence, your presence will become magnetic. If you believe that you create your own destiny, the world will shift to accommodate that truth. Because belief, when charged with emotion, does not stay in the mind. It bleeds into action. It transforms behavior. It becomes your identity. And that is how you break free from the cage. That is how you step into the world as a force to be reckoned with. That is how you begin a life of choice.